Okay. Um, Today I didn't make a lot of videos, um, and that's because I feel like I'm getting to that point where everything has been said, and even if whatever horrible thing I'm gonna go through, it's been so validated, and I'm so thankful that I had the opportunity to make the videos to kind of show the pattern. One obvious pattern I've been showing, beside the in real time manipulations, is the memory manipulations. My first video I made was in 2020, October 2020. And this is a sample of what I said. Um, this is what I said 3 years ago, right? Over a little over 3 years ago. Memory where you actually have that memory, but the perception changes in that memory, and sensations are added to it. Not it's just so weird to even try to explain something like that because it does feel so, you know, so abnormal. But adding sensations, feelings, perceptions of things you weren't feeling, just to also create this narrative in this persona. And this really, is just is to the point where you don't even wanna fall for any of your memories. It, it, it's all about deception. It's And so, this video I just described what's happening to my memories. I'm feeling my memories just being manipulated. They're making me experience sensations, feelings, perceptions that I wasn't feeling at the time. And that was 3 years ago. So you can only imagine today, with my brain being destroyed even more, and so many videos I've made. This I think was my 20th or something. That now I'm 1,000 or so. A lot of it's in regard to there's different manipulations of memories they made me experience. Um, showing just showing the patterns of what they've been doing to me. Oh, this is a new memory they're changing in this way. Oh, they're doing this thing again. And the purpose was for me to always show the consistency of what they do to me. And they've been doing it non-stop. And with time now, the memories can be so, like, I'm at the point where my brain is so fried, and I will never be experiencing my own memories as mine. There will always be some kind of sensations and feeling that I did not experience at the time. And the truth is, I can go back and try to have the real memory, but it's them who's going to control my reaction to that. And I'm being validated that they manipulate memories. There's testimonials that they have this thing where, well, I've been validated in the sense that other target individuals have said that. So I'm a target individual, I'm a TI, I know what that means. It means I'm a human subject, I'm a test subject for governmental entities related to the Department of Defense. I hope that you can capture the noise campaign that you hear in that. As a target individual, you're surrounded by perps contracted by these governmental entities. They're supposed to make you accept this manipulation that this technology can make you experience. Right? They can manipulate you to experience whatever they want you to experience, and then they want you to identify with it. Right? And by this noise campaign you just heard, it's supposed to box in or tickle, kind of remove these perceptions, or not perception, be able to see things in the right way. For example, I'm focused, I'm speaking about what's happening to me, and this person wants to stop that. She wants me to go into that fantasy, this falsification of reality they've created. You hear this video I made 3 years ago, before they were trying to manipulate this memory. And I was saying that at the time. And I've been continuously showing the pattern of, oh, this is this and that. And I've been saying what they've been doing. This technology has the ability to force you to get these nasty reactions. This pedophilia type of tormenting they've been making me experience. I cannot look at a child without getting any stimulations. And that's because they are forcing me to have reactions that are sexual. And who is they is this DOD and you slash as I'm saying that I'm getting all kind of weird text to try to interrupt me because it's a DoD slash US intelligence entity program that is meant to develop this technology. What this technology can do is it can destroy your body, but it can also manipulate your mind. They have this thing called synthetic telepathy via and V2K. The voice to skull technology is this technology that this perps or anybody can interact with you remotely using this technology. For example, a few minutes ago, I was hearing them interacting with me and try to disorient me because this synthetic telepathy can manipulate you to have sexual stimulations or reactions however they want. And they do these tactics that are very pedophilia-centric. This is done systematically to others. It's done in ways that you can see the common pattern of target individual that almost all of them are saying something about this pedophilia ways of being tormented. But they can also manipulate the memories. Now, the reason why they want to change your memories is because as they manipulate you, they want you to identify with the manipulations. And the way they want you to accept this is changing your memories because when your memories are changed to have sensation that you weren't experiencing, perception that you weren't experiencing, stimulation that you were experiencing, they can try to break you down in a sense that you see we felt that they are. I felt we saw this thing. We saw this reaction you felt then. It's you. Because they've manipulated this memory to have this reaction. Like I said 3 years ago. And I've been consistent and I'm so glad I did that. I know it's not going to change what's going to happen to me. But these bottom feeders are going to have to understand that whatever comes to their way, remember, this is how dumb you have to make yourself be. You know, and via V2K, I'm talking about the fierceness in their voices is something else. So I hear this person say something right after trying to make me accept these false memories. You know, with me, the manipulations is very pedophilia-centric, especially with little girls. So what they've been doing to me, and you can go through to a lot of my memory videos, I say the same thing. They look at where they can change the memory to make me have nasty sexual stimulation toward the little girls. I've said that all a lot. Some usually they try to be smoother, but now that my brain is so destroyed, they don't even care because I'm not going to experience my real memory anymore. I've been conditioned so much. My brain has been conditioned so much that I can't even experience my memory. Like the way I experience my in real time. It's changed. And so they don't care anymore. And we are guinea pigs in this program. We are used as these test subjects where they do this technology, they apply this technology onto us and see how they can tweak around, perfect it in the meaning of perfecting how to manipulate somebody and make them accept these things. Like I said, this video I made was 3 years ago. But I found out more things that aren't like top secret. Like in the sense that I found out that in the mainstream world, memory manipulation is something that's accepted already as going to be the future. That actually is already here. There's an article that I keep bringing up. This article, let me just bring it up. This is a journal article. A journal, a journal, a medical journal. The name of the medical journal is Manipulating Memories. The Ethics of Yesterday's Science Fiction and Today's Reality. Now, this article talks about how today's reality is we understand that memory is can be manipulated now, and brain and memories are not a fixed thing. It's like a wax imprint. It can be changed around.
It can be manipulated. And so we, as this journal, this medical journal is talking about, is we have to prep for the day when these manipulations is applied, because people can start doing things to you and change your memory to make you believe a false memory. And one point they're raising is, can alter memory change the notion of self? Meaning, if they change your memories, can that change the way you see yourself? This is listen. This is right here. I'm pulling up this now. As you heard the noise campaign, these people are doing their best to disorient me. Even their job is to gaslight you, right? You have never, you can never ever go with them, right, or like, to never. Their job is to disorient you and deceive you. If there's something that they try to, let's just say, if something is true about what they say, they're saying that to disorient you later, to deceive you later. Is pure deception all in all, because as this validates you that memory manipulation is like, this is in 2016 December. This is written by Julie M. Robillard. She has a PhD. She's a doctor, and Judy Isles, also a doctor. Two doctors, right? In my brain's like, oh, they're women, so they've rewired my brain so such a childlike ways. And they're basically saying, well, the day is coming where this memory manipulation is coming. It's going to be something very doable. And they're talking about how it's necessary to start thinking about how we should create guidelines, and how we should uh, respond to the potential for memory manipulation in 2016. And they talk about how there's already advances in memory manipulations, and this, like, so they talk about that, memory manipulation represents a particularly complex challenge for scientists who conduct research, and it also represents a challenge for ethicists who bring questions and frameworks to bear and on the issue to ensure that ethical science is not hampered, that the allocation of benefit is just that risk is mitigated in research, and that the dissemination of discoveries and new knowledge benefits society as a whole, right? And so they talk about the different fear of the manipulations of memories. This is in 2016. Awkwardly enough, this talks about the Brain Initiative, which DARPA, the Defense Advanced Research, is a program manager. Let me see. The Defense Advanced Research Project Agency is also involved in, because they have a lot of legacy with neurotechnology specific to memories too. They've been working on memory manipulations already. There's even people there talking about in very vague ways that memory manipulation is doable. They can do that. You can change the manipulation. You can manipulate the memories. It's clear. It's so clear that even this, like, mainstream non-military, not non-classified entities like this journal medical is talking about. So it's clear. Memory manipulation is happening. It's very much doable. It's not conspiracy theorists. Those are doctors writing this ethics. And it's funny, they're addressing the bioethics committee, which is the same committee, which, weird correlation there. It's the same committee in 2011 where there was a bunch of targeted individuals that show up talking about we are being humans used as human subjects for these DARPA, DOD entity, Department of Defense entities, who are using these weapons, these very sophisticated weapons, onto us. I'm saying that because with this level of validation in life, I just want to say thank you, God. Now, I know it's not going to change what's going to happen to me. But these people, as they warn me of the horrible things I'm going to experience, and I know why I'm going to experience it at that level of horribleness, it seems like they've been warned too. They've changed so much of my memories in these disturbing ways, making me have this nasty reaction, this sensation stimulation, that when I try to think back with my real memories, I'm never going to experience that. Like I said, it's usually they try to add that when there's little girls. I talked about all the different ways they manipulate. I'm surprised I didn't make that video, because I think at that point it was like, okay, it's just like too much. It's too easy for me, because I remember not having that. Now my brain is even more fried. So I remember me and my girlfriend. I think I talked about it in one of my memories. Me and my girlfriend at the time, we watched the entertainment news, and I remember there was Kim Kardashian and Kanye West. They had their kids, and at that point, I think there was just the one daughter. She was a very adorable little girl, and my girlfriend's like, hey, out of the babies, which one? I think I asked her, was like, well, which one's your favorite one out of those babies? At that point, she had multiple kids. So, and she was like, my girlfriend's like, no, my ex-girlfriend, I should say. It was like, no, I like the little boy better, the little baby. I think he's the cutest. And I'm like, oh, the little girl's very cute. I think she's, And they're like, of course, at the time, that was me. But the way they're changing it in the nasty ways that I'm forced to experience things today. Right? Giving me this nasty stimulation. Because what they're trying to do is to make me accept this notion of self that they've created. This stimulation and sensation that I'm forced to experience today. And so that shows that what happened. And so they're slowly breaking me down into make me accept this nasty manipulation. That is being validated. They do this pedophile type of torture. You gotta remember, this article, this journal medical, you can see here, can alter memory, changes the notion of self. That's the question that was posed here. Meaning, can a memory change the way you see yourself? You see how everything just falls in place? You see how everything just like is put, like is aligned in a way that kind of tells you reality immediately? Right? While I'm saying that, the level of disorientation I'm getting from these perps interacting with me via V2K is like, no, we are like trying to disorient me, because this kind of alignment is just too much. I'm not like, listen, it's scary. You gotta be careful as target individual, because you see things for what they are if you are aware of reality, and you see everybody else acting so like childlike to get you to accept this thing. They're gaslighting you. They know reality, but they're doing whatever they do to make you believe this false reality. That's their job. It is their task. And so it's easy for you as a target individual to start being like, oh my gosh, I'm so smart. I'm seeing that for what it is, and they're not. No. They are seeing even better than you what they're doing, because they're doing it to you. And their job is to truly get you to accept this false reality. This yelling, this noise campaign is part of how they try to break you down into accepting this. These childlike ways of like responding, and it's part of how they try to make you be accepting of this. It is a task that they have to get you to accept. In their mind, the way they even do that, they trick themselves into like thinking that this task is just like something like brave. They start telling themselves that they are at war. It's their war to get you to believe this falsified reality. Now, listen, I'm not a genius. I gotta remind myself of that, because the way they dumb themselves down can make you believe that you are at one point a genius. As I'm saying that, they tell me I'm going to be screaming, I'm going to be framed, things that actually validates you, right? But because in their way, they are war. We need to disorient him to make him believe this falsified reality. So as they manipulate this memory, I hear this person say something like, "Oh, that's kind of, so you're saying that's like just a coincidence, right?" She said that in different language, and I'm like, "Oh, a coincidence? Is it a coincidence that this article that talks about the ethics of memory manipulations literally calls out this and asks this question: can altered memory change the notion of self?" One thing you know about this program is they try to depattern you. They are trying to break the self image of yourself. They are trying to make you accept this false persona that you're not. They're trying to break your ego. This article says nothing about, like, this is not about target individual. They're just saying just the future, and the technology of the future is already here, is coming here. And they ask, once you change somebody's memory, are you changing how they see themselves? In the program where behavior modulation is the key, right? So the question is that a coincidence that they will ask this? It doesn't end that. Is that a coincidence that DARPA, in their own website, talk about the legacy of neurotechnology and talk about all the things they can do with memories already? DARPA is under the Department of Defense. Is it a coincidence that so many target individuals are saying, I'm a test subject in this program where DARPA technologies apply onto me? Okay. The reason why she said it's a coincidence is because she said, when I was a kid, I did this dumb thing I did as a child. A thing that I did to myself as a kid. It's an impulsive thing that I did as a child. And to the point that it left my memories completely, in the sense that when you're a kid and you do something that you just like so nothing to you, you just move on. If it's something that was like really an impactful thing for you, to you, or something that you enjoyed to the point where it'll stick with you. And so they say, "Oh, is there a coincidence that you did what you did as a kid?" It's like, yes, children do things like that all the time. That's what children do. Kids are impulsive. It will not be a coincidence if it happened multiple times. It will not be a coincidence if this is something that was thought about many times. It will not be a coincidence if there's a pattern. But an act of a child doing something impulsive is what children literally do. That's why a kid can do that. And if you don't see a pattern, because they don't do that again, and they do one thing stupid, and to the point where they don't even remember that shows how impulsive it was. Now, these people hold on to these things because it's important to them as they manipulate you when they make you have these nasty reactions. Because today, when they make me have these nasty reactions, like, now we mapped it to you when you were a kid. Okay, that's retarded. So now they go into my memories and make me experience these things when I'm an adult. And changing my memories, not only in my childhood, now in this like obvious moment of knowing that it's not this, I did not experience this feeling, but now my memory is experienced in this way. And so you who have been validated by patterns that they have, consistent patterns of what they've been doing to people, for memory manipulations, that you hear the DARPA is working on. Not even DARPA is on their website. Please go and just Google memory manipulation in DARPA. There's articles about that. It's crazy. You're saying these entities who've been working on memory manipulations are not manipulating my memories? Of course, I know that's what they do. But you get validated by people who say the same things. Can somebody say something like that?
Able to impose any information on the brain of a person, presumably by some kind of waves, which in the mind take the form of voices, thoughts and images and imagination. In addition to this kind of implanting information that they need, they manipulate the psyche so that the information is written into your memory. Then by stimulating the certain regions in the brain they can retrieve this information and present it as your own memory. This is the conclusion that can be made judging by the influence they have been making on me with their psychotronic weapons, for example artificial thoughts, imagination, and mental torture. This is the key so that the information is written into your memory. Then by stimulating the certain regions in the brain they can retrieve this information and present it as your own memory. This is the conclusion that can be made judging by the influence they have been making on me with their psychotronic weapons, for example artificial thoughts. Kind of implanting information that they need, they manipulate the psyche so that the information is written into your memory. Then by
There's multiple testimonials like that, speaking about memory manipulations, implanting personality in memories. You understand? And for me, every time they change memories, like this is a new memory, this is. But the disgusting part is the pedophilia type of tormenting is something done systematically. Why do I always bring? You see, the patterns of pedophilia type of torture is so systematic. When you hear somebody who says these things,
It's dramatic. It's somebody trying to end my life. It's somebody trying to end who I am as a person. It's somebody trying to take over my mind. But he thought of it. Like, this disgusting thing. And you saw where I was going with that first word. Disgusting things that I don't even want to talk about because it makes me sick. I don't even like those words in my mind. But it is what it is. So I have no choice now but to acknowledge that there are people in my surroundings or whatever they do. I don't know how they do it. I don't care. I don't know if it's through. Right?
Putting thoughts of the first word he was trying to say is pedophilia. Putting thoughts of pedophilia in his mind, and it's like I don't know how they're doing it. I know there's people it's surrounding. I don't know if they use a weapon in my surround. You just heard the noise campaign. I hope it captured the noise campaign. I'm not sure. But they describing this person said that in 2000, I think 11, 12 or something, way before that. Describing what I'm going through right now. Is this a coincidence? That somebody is literally saying the same thing as me? To this level of specificity? No. But it doesn't end there.
Experience what is referred to as odorance. This is the alteration of the smell sensation so that I am often made to smell various things, including smoke, burning, dirty diaper, or baby powder, which they sometimes combine with the pedophilia type of torture, including the threat of planted dreams.
Pedophilia type of torture. Literally calling it, there's a torture that is pedophilia centric. Is this a coincidence? Or is there a pattern here? It doesn't end here.
This is a common breakdown tactic of belief systems and the human will. In no-touch torture, the techniques are more psychologically specialized for each target. Most common examples include homosexual targets that are forced with voices that are derogatory to their lifestyle and similar mental images. Almost all targets are forced to view child pornography in their minds.
Almost all target individual that this person surveyed said they put child pornography in their mind. Is there a pattern here? As I'm saying that via V2K, they are doing whatever they can. Oh, you're calm, man. Even the gaslighting methods are like childlike. But there's not childlike individuals who do these things. This is how they're supposed to disorient me from this. From thinking in a logical way. They are contracted to do these things. So these people make me feel like a genius. I'm not this like passionate person like that. I'm passionate because it's just super obvious. And you have these bottom feeders contracted by these governmental entities that do these things, like you heard people in surrounding doing the perfect. It doesn't end here. The reason why this passion I have, this is not always like that. I'm not this passionate person all the time. But when you get this level of validation, it is something else. That you can see that I could have been this low life to try to counter these obvious manipulations. Talk about coincidence. Listen to this story of this, not even story, her testimonial. It's a woman. This woman, she's she started getting these stimulations. She called it program perversion. And they start aiming that toward children, of course.
For me and my family. Ben said the slaves began a program of perversion. First was with my dog. I am very playful with my pet, and suddenly one day that I was petting him I felt strange, in the sense of the word. I thought, this is strange, and then afterwards that strange sensation continued. Then in that moment I realized that was impost, so I thought, look at this losers, don't know how to put me down, and they are doing this. So I told them that I know what you are trying to do, and I started laughing, and then I said again out loud, you'll never take my will, ASS, so just to show them that I meant what I said, I kept playing with my dog, and even though that attacks continue, I don't let them get me. Today they continue with the programming of perversion, but this time they are aiming in the use of people, better said young people, also children and homosexuals.
Is this a coincidence that this woman said they do this program perversion? Starting off with when she was petting her dog, which they've done that to me with dogs and whatever. Then they start aiming it toward young people, and then what a coincidence! She said children too. Is this a coincidence? And she said also homosexual, which is something they've done to me too. It's getting like, you see, like this is what you call a pattern. It's not a stupid moment of a child, of an impulsive child in middle school that never happened again. That's not a pattern. A pattern is when multiple people are saying the same things over and over in all different ways. And when this obviousness is shown, these people do everything possible to disorient me. They tell me I'm going to scream, I'm going to die. Why they tell me this now is because I'm bringing that up. And they don't want you to see things for what they are. I'm not saying I'm not going to be screaming. I'm definitely going to die. But the reason why this stuff are said to me right now, as I'm presenting this obviousness of what they do, in so many levels, it's scary. You heard target individuals say they do a particular type of torture. You don't even, you see the medical journal from these 3 doctors or 2 doctors saying memory manipulation is coming up. The ethics, you should apply some kind of ethics about it because, the dangers of somebody manipulating memories are there. Oh, the question posed, can manipulated memories alter notion of self? Can they change how you see yourself? This program, there is one thing they do. When you hear the testimonies of others saying they implant personality in the memories, it's said like that. Why do they implant personality in the memories? It means that they try to change the notion of themselves. They want you to see yourself as target individuals, as somebody else, and start identifying with the manipulations. It's super obvious. But the most disturbing part is those entities that do this pedophilia type of torture that you hear have had and is having a lot of problems with pedophilia. Even Department of Defense, especially the Department of Defense, You want to hear how disgusting it is? As I'm saying this, right now perps are going through character mode. And character mode, it means that they start using the different tonalities to talk in ways to try to agitate me. Because it's too obvious, right? I'm hearing these childlike people who are very childlike. It's like, remember that woman saying like this people around surroundings. The people in the surroundings are like really childlike. Like that. Try to convince you that what they're doing is just proof of mapping or going through your memories, and you're not changing your memories. And you heard all the manipulations, which include memories. And there's plenty of those. And with me, they try to be like, no, they're going to be raped. Yeah, I'm going to be framed by them. They tell me that as if that doesn't validate me, but they say I'm going to be tortured, and that it's supposed to make me accepting of these pedophilia things they do to people. But the most embarrassing part, as they make me they want me to accept this false memory of the Kim Kardashian little memories of the little girl, which is little, because today I saw her when she was like after August 19, 2019. They gave me this stimulation. Matter of fact, even me thinking about it, they start stimulating me. They gave me stimulation. It was still nasty. And so what they're doing to change this notion of self, they go into my memories and manipulating that. It's like, no, you felt it like that too. No, you make me feel these things today. Because for me, the manipulation of thoughts in this fashion started on August 19, 2019. That's why I keep saying that date. Before then, I thought I was normal. I could see that, I see that adorable, beautiful little girl. Today's like, oh, it's nasty. Why am I getting these nasty stimulations? It's like, now we mapped it to you when you were a kid. But today's like, no, you felt that too when you saw it, like, because my brain is getting fried up. And so that day was the end for me, as being me. I was no longer myself since August 19, 2019. Matter of fact, they told me, just kill yourself, it's over, we have your brain. Meaning and I didn't understand what they meant. Meaning that we're going to manipulate you however you want to. We want to. Kill yourself. I remember laughing, like, he doesn't even know he's dead. But the most disgusting things, and I'm glad that I didn't kill myself. Because today, even though my brain is more fried than ever, my memories are more manipulated than ever, my mind is more manipulated than ever, I live to hear these things that validate you. This is the beginning of how disgusting these things.
Secrets, potentially making this. The Defense Department releasing brand new details into an investigation involving child pornography and dozens of its workers and contractors, some with top-level security clearance. Not only are these very serious accusations, but investigators say some of the people involved were handling the nation's most sensitive secrets, potentially making this a matter of national security. Chief Fox Report correspondent Jonathan Hunt with the news. Appalling story, Jonathan. Do we know more about these people and their security clearances?
Well, we don't know their exact job titles, John, but what we do know is that they did appear to be working, some of them at high levels, across a range of government agencies. Take a look at this, for instance, the National Security Agency, the National Reconnaissance Office, and the very secretive Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency.
The very secretive Defense Advanced Research Project agencies and this child porn probe. Of course, they saw a project manager who had child porn on his computers, his government computer. That's kind of disgusting, right? But you don't know how nasty it is until this level of disturbing comes up. This was in 2019.
Has come under investigation for links to the proliferation of graphic material. Called Project Flicker, some 5,000 individuals have been identified as having subscriptions to child porn sites, including many DoD-affiliated persons. So this ongoing national investigation has now prompted the House to introduce a bipartisan bill that would help the DoD stop the use of its network to, quote, possess, procure, or produce child pornography. Joining us to discuss this, investigative journalist Ben Swan. So Ben, the Pentagon already takes measures to limit worker access to stuff like porn by rolling out what they call the personal electronic device (PED) policy, where workers have to drop off their phones and lockers before entering their offices. All their online searches are accessible by security if or when needed. Their Wi-Fi access is monitored in digital security suites. So how is this happening?
Well, it's happening because even though there is a certain amount of limitation on access, those who are working in the Department of Defense, clearly it appears to be thousands of individuals in the Department of Defense, are finding ways around this, specifically by using the Department of Defense IP addresses and also apparently peer-to-peer sharing within the department's network. So this study that was done on this issue, and it is pretty horrifying, Manila, to consider this. It shows that the Department of Defense ranked 19th out of almost 3,000 networks in terms of peer-to-peer sharing of child pornography. That is absolutely incredible. This bill attempts to essentially say, look, we're not doing enough to stop it from coming in, but we're also not doing enough in the Department of Defense to go after those individuals who are being recognized as the ones who are perpetrating this.
So Congresswoman Abigail Spanberger is the co-author to this bill. She said this, quote, "The notion that the Department of Defense's network and Pentagon-issued computers may be used to view, create, or circulate such horrifying images is a shameful disgrace and one we must..."
Let me repeat that. The notion that the Department of Defense network and the Pentagon issue computers may be used to view, create, or circulate such horrifying images is shameful. The key words here. I'm blocking something there because I don't want them to create these nasty stimulations. The notion that the Department of Defense network and Pentagon issue computers may be used to view, create, and circulate such horrifying images is shameful and disgraceful, and disgrace, and one we must fight head on. This is disgusting, and you heard the ranking. Then the issue that they're mentioning is the issue of just using Pentagon devices, network. They're not even saying what these employees do at home that they cut on their private. No. Pentagon provided devices. And these people are in our brain, manipulating us in these disgusting ways. Now, is that a coincidence? I don't know. I don't know. That's the question about if this is really a coincidence. Everything else is not a coincidence. They do the pedophilia type of torture. They torture us in this systematic way. Is a pattern of that. Now, is it a coincidence that the entities that are running this program have issue with pedophilia, and that's why they do the pedophilia type of tormenting? I don't know. That is maybe a coincidence, but it is a true problem that those entities have a lot of pedophiles in these agencies. While they do this pedophilia type of torture and have the ability to manipulate memories. Now, is it why pedophilia is used in such a easy way to break people down? I'm not gonna speak about that. I don't know. For me, I'm like, yeah, it's kind of a little too much of a coincidence that there's such a problem with pedophilia that they're doing things to limit the amount of child porn being shared and accessed using Pentagon devices and network. You see, that's some scary stuff. You hear that these are the same entities running the program where they're using this defense technology onto us. DARPA on its own website talks about the legacy of neurotechnology they have. Go into Brain Initiative. Of course, things are not as clear and transparent because this is a very secretive agency, as these people mentioned when they talk about the child porn probe. It's a very secretive entity which because they are creating technology that they don't want to share with the world. But what they're sharing in regard of information, it's clear that they've been working on memories and the brain. They have legacy of neurotechnology. So for me, it's like, of course I know that this memory being manipulated this way is simple. It's because you want me to have this notion of self and to make me accept these manipulations that I'm experiencing today. I was able to see things normally. If I saw an adorable little girl, I'd be like, oh, adorable, she's normal. No fucking nasty stimulation and sensation that today I'm experiencing. That this make me disgust looking like kids. I hate being around children. I hate seeing children. I hate even hearing children. Because their nasty reaction, their nasty low life can make me experience. And what they do when they make you experience it, no, but remember what you did as a kid. Is that just like, no? That's a child doing something stupid. That's what kids are capable of doing. Children are children. The brain of a child is still developing. They're not up there. Especially when you see this as just an impulsive moment. When you start seeing patterns of things happening over and over and over, then you're like, okay, whoa. But you see something happening once and never happen again, never. It's just a child. Just done some impulsive thing, and they have to exaggerate that. They now create false patterns. And now it's getting to the point where they falsify memories where I'm like, I know it's not real. But I can experience the real memory. And you heard how disgusting it is. So for me, I expect with this kind of level of validation, I expect the horror. Because these people, for me, and that's when you know like this validation I have is just so magical. They have been trying to present themselves as this like femme fatale. And there's a lot of female participants. A lot of female. And with me, they're like, you know, we're women to protect, we're you know, thinking that the gender of this purpose changes the reality of what they do. And so when you hear testimonies like that, when you hear these testimonials,
but I was going to be shot in the face. And it was an older guy. He was like really, really disgruntled and pissed off. Yeah, she was shot in the face. You know, it felt like an angry ass old person. You know, then a couple of days later, a female said the same thing. Oh, he's shot in the face. You know, stupid shit like that. But what I really noticed is, with the Voice of Skull, it's a bunch of females. You know, and I'm like, bro, really? You're not a woman. What real woman would soften on the female or sit back and allow?
You understand that you've been validated in so many ways. It doesn't even end here. These people actually torture children too. Test subjects inclusive of children. So when they even try to vilify you for what you've done as a kid and try to exaggerate that, this impulsive child moment, what they involve in these things.
I am currently a speech-language pathologist working in private practice with young children. I had a 7-year-old client who has autism, and she was the most significantly affected of all of my clients. I eventually had to tell this client to go to another clinic, and they used her to threaten the most torture in me as well as their most extreme forms of torture. For several months, she would cry and scream horribly during our therapy sessions despite having a great day at school. This was highly unusual behavior for her, as she usually behaved very well during her therapy sessions and had been they would make the kids act as they often do. One day she had a large, severe bite mark. One day I also observed her gasping for air a few times in the same way that I do when I am being more severely suffocated. The suffocation had been in a mild state for a while up until this point. Many of their torture methods are cyclical in severity. Right after I saw this child being suffocated, then I began to experience very extreme suffocation all day, every day, for about, 2 months straight, and that's also when they made it worse when I eat. Then I also work with a 4-year-old little girl with Down syndrome, as well as her 5-year-old sister, who also has Down syndrome. I observed both of these girls suddenly grabbing their genitals in pain and verbalizing, ow.
So, the validations are just too much. It is obvious they manipulate the memories. First of all, you recognize false memories, especially when it's like so like not too long ago. I know I didn't experience it in this way. And I made videos about the manipulations of memories before they even manipulate this specific memory. I was saying this is a 2020 video of mine. Even before finding out there's like a whole like journal, medical journal articles about like memory manipulation in 2016 talk about like this is coming up soon. DARPA and other entities are working on that. And I'm saying they try to manipulate me right now.
Memory where actually I had that memory, but the perception changes in that memory. And sensations I to it's nuts. It's just so weird to even try to explain something like that because it does feel so, so abnormal. But adding sensations, feelings, perceptions of things you weren't feeling, just to also create this narrative in this persona. And this really, is just.
This video, I don't know if you could see, is 2020. So for me, I have no problem to continuously show everything that they've done. I want to show a clear pattern. This is a clear pattern of what they've been doing to me. And so they're like, no, is that a coincidence that you did what you did when it's like there's a child who did something stupid once. That's what kids are capable of doing. Now you have to create false patterns because you want me to accept these manipulations as if it's me organically. Well, the reality of the patterns, the real patterns, is consistent. That they've been doing this pedophilia type of torture. Many have said how they forced them to have reactions, stimulations toward children, or have some kind of like child porn implanted in their mind. Matter of fact, this guy who surveyed 1,000 TI said almost all of them said something about child porn implanted in their mind. So you understand there's a pedophilia type of tormenting happening there. Then you hear testimonies of memory manipulations, implanting persona in memories. Multiple people have said that. You hear that men clearly say they put these things and bring it back this information in my memories and present it as if it's your memory. This is the things that have been said. And then to add this like disturbing reality that the entities that are in charge of these programs have true patterns of pedophilia issues. To the point where they're being ranked as top tier in regards to child porn shared within this network. And the bill is meant to limit the amount of child porn shared within this network. And this woman says it's just disgraceful and shameful that DOD, Department of Defense Network, and Pentagon provided devices are used to create, share, and access child pornography. It circulates child pornography. So you gotta be strong because it's not a coincidence that things are being manipulated this way. This is a systematic way. They've been manipulating target individuals all around the world in the same ways. And it's not a coincidence that your memories are being manipulated. It's because, like this question was posed in this article. Can alter memory change the notion of self? Well, I have my notion of self is I know I'm being manipulated, so I'm not looking at myself in a different way. I'm just know that I'm not going to be me anymore. So this is not self. I didn't change my notion of self, but I'm no longer me, and I recognize that. And they try to change my memory so I can accept this false notion of self. And they try to have these arguments like, no, but you see, is it a coincidence that you did this thing when you were kids? I did this thing as a kid because I was a child. My brain was not developing. It was not developed. So what a kid is capable of doing. You do this fear type of torture because you're trying to depattern me. And that's what you've done to many others who said the exact same thing. Now, when I'm in pain and torture is applied, that's a way to try to break me into accepting these things. And please, the psyop has been presented to others before. Even this shows how the pattern is in regard of like make you believe that this is anything but a massive government running this program.
It is split personalities, satanic ritual V2K. So they'll say we're the Russian government, we're the Chinese government, we're evil aliens, we're Satan's, satanic ritual abuse. I've heard all these stories. One guy believed it was some 14-year-old kid with an Xbox that lived next door. The trickery really is that great when you're under hypnosis that people will believe something other than a massive government.
So this is exactly what they do. They want you to believe this fantasy. With me, it's like, now what we're doing, we mapped it, we saw this thing. It's like, now you're literally changing my memories to experience this thing. And then you say, now we mapped it to this, you see. And then when I recognize it, like, no, but remember what you did as a kid? It's like, I was a child, I did some stupid thing. Before that, what they were doing is changing my memories as a child. And so that's going to be hard for me to just recollect me as a child. It was like, I'm far from a child now. But now they're literally going to like, me like with my girlfriend. And because my brain is more fried than ever, my memories will never be experienced the same way. You just gotta be understanding that this is how they manipulate me. And they want you to be nervous. And they're gonna, we got you. We got you. And it's like all these gimmicky ways of playing with you. And they interact with me via V2K, voice to skull. Oh, if you don't know what voice to skull is, here's how this woman, who's a target individual, describes it.
V2K, or voice to skull. This involves the projection of voices, noises, and music directly into my mind to communicate with me in real time and at the speed of thought. And it also includes the manipulation of thoughts, emotions, and perceptions in the person's mind. Additionally, the targeting is all highly perverted and sexual, as well as just.
And when she means perverted, she doesn't mean that's like toward adults. It's toward children. Making you experience nasty reactions and perceptions toward children. To torment you. And then try to create these battles. And you have this voice from these perps who to me, they sound like neighbors or people who live around me. Interacting with you. And a lot of them are childlike. And so gimmicky. All the tonality they use. I don't know, it's so you. We have proof. Right now they try to create another battle of retardations. That's why I call them retardation. That's a terminology I heard from another target individual where they say that retardation and insanity is what they're pushing him to. Because it's truly that. So to all my target individual, it's not a coincidence that they do these nasty manipulations. But do not identify with any of these things. They want you to see yourself in different ways. They want your notion of self be different. So when they make you experience these nasty things, for example, me talking to my ex-girlfriend and be like, oh, who's your favorite? Like, out of all the kids, like, and she'll say like, no, the little boy's my, I think it's the cutest. I'm like, oh, that little girl's the cutest. To me, not even saying that, it scares me. It doesn't scare. It disturbs me because it turned into something sexual instead of this wholesome thing that I was able to be because I was me. And now I'm no longer me when I say adorable little girl. I feel like it's something pedophilia centric now. Because that's how they turn things into. Instead of the wholesome thing that I was able to see it as. I detest children because of what these people do to me in regard of how I'm reacting to them. In regard of the reaction and stimulations. That even me speaking like that, I'm like, ugh. Because in my mind, it's perverted by this nastiness, by these low lives. They've perverted this wholesome, adorable, endearing things like children and turn it into disturbing things that is now sexual. Stimulations are disturbing now. Like this is this disturbing with stimulation. You hear me speaking, they try to twist things around to kind of frustrate me. This is false speech. Even that is validated. To all my target individuals, stay strong.